Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
An angel!
Actually, it is a projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the porthole are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
A large dry room. The huge ancient stones remind you of the buildings in Machu Picchu, Peru. Whoever built this, built it to last. A large alien computer. The computer console has a conventional keyboard which is covered by odd symbols you do not immediately recognize. A large alien computer. The thick glass window and the light coming from it make it difficult to see beyond it, though you get the impression of a living plasma swirling behind it. The golden projection gives you a clear view of a lithe, sprightly figure of great beauty. Compassionate intelligence shines from its wide eyes. James T. Kirk scrutinizes the room, his thoughts rushing along at breakneck pace. Spock's face displays no emotions. Dr. Leonard McCoy looks intrigued by this new area to explore. Ensign Johns appears transfixed by the apparition that manifests in this room.
We need to do everything we can to preserve the lives of these angelic creatures.
This device contains genetic soup, Jim. Amino acids, proteins, the stuff of life itself.
This machine is a genetic bank, Captain. I suspect that the projection acts as a fail-safe mechanism that will surrender samples of the genetic code for sequencing and replication when the mechanism is willing.
This reminds me of the first time I saw them cloning Amoslovs at the Academy. It seemed like magic at the time. The fetuses growing into embryos, then developing into infants.
Life is a miracle, Captain.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? All right, I know you're just a projection. Let's speak with your real masters. So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our Prime Directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story. Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about?
I speak of the Alphans, of course. They are foul, cold creatures who pervert even the most sacred ideas. They cling to the heretical belief that life began within darkness. Of course, we recognize light as the life bringer. All things began in a brilliant, life-giving burst of light.
A burst of light? That's a common motif in creation stories.
Or in accordance with the Big Bang theory of the universe's creation.
You must expunge the world of the Alphans. This is why I called you here. I know you can accomplish what you need to do with the equipment that is present. Be warned, Visner can be very persuasive. I await your report of success.
There's no need to leave. We've already talked with Visner. I have to say that I find many of your claims insupportable.
Insupportable? How can you defend a race whose very existence is based upon deceit and foul lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra, Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that? You repeatedly proclaim yourself. You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us. In the light we were born and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. 2 single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your combined strengths will make you a viable entity again.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
The glowing light coming from the sample dish tells you that the colony is thriving.
These Omegans are incredible. They metabolize almost everything, which explains how they give off that glow.
The sample dish feels warm to the touch. Maybe I should ask Spock to take a look at this.
I am reactivating Visner, Captain.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Omegans a fanatical race, uninterested in anything but fulfilling some self-contradictory messianic destiny for themselves? I assume they filled your heads with their warped theology.
Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be. Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all. Frankly, Visner, warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all.
Are you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept? You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are?
How can their concerns match ours when they reach conclusions based on superstition in a document which is largely allegorical in content?
Logic, when applied to your arguments and theirs, suggests that you have had the same experience. The two of you are united in a common drive to attain an end. Your mutual distrust reflects a fear of facing your destiny. Realizing your full potential will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us, meet the Omegans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
Not a bad psychoanalysis, Jim. Freud would be proud.
Captain, you may be ignoring the obvious.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
The dark sample seems more filled with corruption than it does any wholesome living creatures.
Boy, these alphans are healthy little beggars. They're multiplying at a phenomenal rate.
You take the alpha sample, which feels cold to the touch.